Yerushalmi, Bava Kama, Daf Yud Aleph, Amud Aleph, Halacha Daled. Zoktelu Mishnah, Moitzi is Tivnoi. Someone takes out his tevin, his straw, his gaftoi, which is the psilus of the zaysim. L'shus harabim, he puts out l'shus harabim, l'zvalim, to turn it into fertilizer. V'hozik ben achad, someone else was injured by it. Chayv ben iska, so he's chayv to pay for the koyd behen. Zacha. And whoever takes it as a knas that the Chum put onto him is that onto the items that if somebody puts it out there, whoever takes it is it belongs to him, whoever finds it. Ha'ifech is a gala, also someone takes fertilizer out, takes dung, puts it out, b'shus rabin, or shus rabin, huzik ben achon, someone else is injured. Chayiv ben iskay. He's chayiv ben iskay, and over here, like the Bnei Moshe points out over here, that there's no knas over here. Because over here it was already Zevel when he took it out. So he's taking out probably just to clear out his chutzner, so it's there temporarily anyway. Zok the Gemara, Hamoitzias Tivnus Gaftoi Bameh. In what exactly is he Zeicher? So the base of Riani Amri Bishvachan, only in the Shvach. In other words, the guf of the Tevin belongs to the original owner, but the Shvach belongs to the finder. That's the knaf. Shmuel no beguf and he's in the guf of the tevin. Now, according to Rabbi Yana, he would go out. I guess he would sell it, and whatever the value of the original tevin was would go to the original owner, and the rest would go to the guy who took it. But in order to zeich in it, you have to actually turn it over in order and have in mind to be mechaven to be zeich in it. Milsa de Chizkiah Mametatl Niklim Befechas, we see from Chizkiah that you can just turn something over. In other words, you take it, you kind of pick it up, turn it over, not a real hagbah, just turning it over itself, you kind of that. Can you use grave dragging something along? Is that enough to kind of something? So Amar Rabban Bachia Nirin Dvarim Ba'amudim Ba'oris Kashim, kind of big pillars or tough hides. Over there, grave would work. But soft skins, like on there you have to do a full hagbah. Just dragging it is not enough. And the Gemara is going to ask on that later. Amar Ravacha says, Laida Pashtal Shitzain Drabonin. Laida, who according to the Marafulda is the Shem of a Chacham, so he was able to figure out a way to get to get Chizkiah Shita, where he says that you have to be mechavan liskisba to work out even according to the Rabbana. We'll just take a look in the Marafulda. So he says, "Leidas the Ramaskal Leidas Shem Chacham Pashta b'shitzan Rabbana." He was able to figure out a way to get it that it works even according to the Shita the Rabbana. She'ena pshitas to Chizkiah azal shitza Rabbanan, because alpi pashtas, and this is not going according to Shita Rabbanan. The Lakama Perik Chamishi. Peligi Rabban Rabbi Kiva Bar. There's Machlekes Rabbi Kiva and Rabbanan by a bar. Rabbanan Chiva the bar b'mafkir boyrei. If you mafkir the bar, that's where the chiv is. Rabbi Kiva and the bar is lubailam. No, it has to have an owner, and that's when you chayiv in it. V'hachamuki lo b'miskaven liskus bar Rabbi Kiva azla like Rabbanan. So over here, when Chizkiah said that he has to be mechaven when he's hoifich it, he has to be mechaven to zoich in it. That's like Rabbi Kiva like Rabbanan. That when he turned it over, he said, "No, you don't have to have in mind to zeichen it. It's enough that the afecha enough is the afecha is enough to kind it." Okay. And again, these Gemaras, Shver, there's a lot of how to learn it. You have the Pnei Moshe and Rafolda, and many other Mefarshim as well. And I try to go for what I think is the most pashut and basic pshat. And in this case, it's the Rafolda. Okay, Zukting Mar now. Ben Sarimar Mashi Chai Betashlomi Kefa Begneva Rishoin Oy Ma'achashu Basrois Misa Ye Pater. So now the Gemara says, what about the Gemara pivots to Ben Sarimar? Ben Sarimar will steal. So we know the first time he does, he's not Chayv Misa. It's only the second time, because then it's becoming a habit already. So what about if he steals the first time? Is he chayiv then? Now the reason he should be potter because of kam lebi ravane is because even though we, like we say, it's not chai for the first time, but the first time ties into the second time, right? There's no second time if there wasn't the first. And that's what the Gemara says. "Machashu basrois misa yepata." Since eventually this could come to asrois misa, maybe you should be pata. So the Gemara Shimi Nadal, see if we can prove him over here. Going to kiss chaveiroi v'tzir b'Shabbos. Someone steals his friend's wallet and he takes it out on Shabbos. Chayiv. He's chayiv, even though it's a chayre kamle b'drabmine. Shekvan. Why? But why is he chayiv to pay the guy money? Shekvan is chai b'gneves kiss actually kitchel Shabbos. This is not meant like my full pose. That's not it's not meant to be taken literally over here. Um, Again, he goes into a little bit of an arichas of why actually the kli, whether or not right, you don't need a kira and anacha, but go al pi pashtis. So the reason there's no kam levid rabbaneh is because he was already chayv when he stole the kiss, he picked it up. He was kainit. That's when the stealing took place. That's when he's chayv to pay. The Issa of Shabbos, the Itzah of Shabbos only came about later. So therefore there's no Kam Loi B'Ramineh. So maybe this would prove we can use this to tell me the same thing by the Ben Sarimar. When he stole the first time, he's chayiv to pay because there's no Kam Loi B'Ramineh until the second time. Sounds very similar. V'loi basros misahu v'zuk Gemara just to continue the question. Loi basros misahu v'tema chayiv v'koi afapishu hu basros misa also yeh chayiv, right? Over there also when the guy steals it, it could be only it took as a split second between the stealing, picking it up to steal it, then walking out, but that's asrois misa, right? But the Hitzah of Shabbos, right? He's going to aid him. We're going to find. They're going to warn him. Don't take this. Don't take the wallet outside because you chayv misa. And you see that he's chayv because we don't say come levid rab misa. Same thing over here. Like we said by the Ben Sarimar, the first time he steals, he's chayv to pay for it because there is no come levid rab misa. Amar Rabbi Anu Rabbi Shmuel. Actually, no, it's not a right because Rabbi Shai Tanisa Kedaite, he went l'shitasi. The Tanya might say aval pishalei niach is chayiv. Ude kavosa moitzi afa pishaloi nota loitzi chayiv shein asriyosa elu b'shas hoitza osai. So let's just see the fold over here. Rabbi Shaya Tani Laha Braisa v'Ozel Shitze. It's going to Shitase. The three loibin in Akira Amanas Lahaitzi. We don't need an Akira Amanas Lahaitzi. Gamanocha loiboi. In other words, we don't need. We're going according to the sheet that it holds. You do not need an Akira from the Rishos Yochid and an Anacha in the Rishos Rabbim. It's enough just to be Moitzi. Finished. Yichayev. Ve'in kam b'shas hagboa asro klal. And therefore, when he picked up this wallet to steal, there was no asra at all. Rak b'shas hatzaseh, the asra is only eligible to later. In other words, at the point when he picked up the wallet to steal it, if two aid would come up to say, "We're warning you now that you're going to be chayiv misa for it," al Shabbos, it's nothing. It's not asra b'chlal because asra doesn't come about till later. Masha'en kein hasa, masha'en kein in the case of Ben Sarimara, ikka asra. Gam betziruf geneva rishoina okmoshe kasafti, says the Rafulda. Because the difference is the like we said before, the original geneva, the first geneva leads to the second geneva. Without the first geneva, you have no second geneva. So therefore, you can't compare it to the case of Itzah by the kiss, because you can steal the wallet without being Michal Shabbos. So therefore, so it's not comparable to the case of Ben Soyer Umayr. Fine. Tani. Zuk the Gemara Tani, we learned in the Brayse Mahaya Gariboy V'Yaitza Potter. However, in a case where a guy he steals the wallet, but instead of picking it up, he drags it along and he takes it out of the Rishus. He takes from Rishus Yochanan to Rishus Rabbim. He's pot in that case. Shecholov Misa Tashlum Kachas, because there you have Kam Leib Rabbineh, because the Chiv Misa Tashlum, since he didn't pick up the wallet, he wasn't kind it until he dragged it from the Rishus Yochanan to Rishus Rabbim. And at that time is when the Chiv Misa is Chals. Therefore it's Kam Leib Rabbineh. Hoam Loi Cholu Lev Shnein Kachas, Chayb Tashlumin. Right? So if they don't come together, then he's Chayb Tashlumin. So therefore, the cases, again, like we said, they're not the same. They're different. The case of Ben Sarimar is you can't compare it to the case of Shabbos, right? Fine. Amri Basi Rabbi Bon. I think 1 second. I think I learned this wrong. Let's just see the. Okay, so I apologize. Let's just go back a second. Tani. M'hoigar v'yoytze v'yoytze v'm'hoigar v'yoytze pater. Shecholov misa v'tashlum ka'achas kom li rabnei. Ha'im lo ycholov shneim ka'achas chai b'tashlumin. So let's just see the Rafald over here. Tani, Sefer the Brisa the Lael Hid is the Sefer the Brisa we mentioned on Amar Aleph. Im Hoygar Akis, Veloy Higbi Klal, Eloitzi Aide Grave, like we said, Alakarka, Potter. Shalakona Agneva, Elbashoshe Tzimmer Shus Bailim, Babli Agneva Vamisa Kech, like we explained. Laficha Defa Potter Tashlumim. We call Moka Nishma Mino. What do we see from over here? Im Loy Hoya Shabbos, Kana Oisa Begreva, V'chayv Tashlumim. He's kainet bigreira, and he'd be chayiv in tashlumin, right? If it wasn't Shabbos, right? It's only because it's Shabbos it's kamle b'ramne. Otherwise, how is he? Right? He's kainet bigreira. So what do we see from here? Vikasha adrabavin. The kiss kotnu. Kiss is at least a wallet is a wallet. V'darka it's small. V'darka bagbo. Afilach kainet bigreira. And we said on Amaral for Bavin said that you can't be kainet greira. You have to pick it up. You need hagbo. So for that, zukti gemara. Tipota, I can. I'm Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Bon. Tipota, keep going to have any link. Kisai, Ravrimant, a very big wallet. Maybe it's Oig Melech wallet. Right? Shadark and Liknas Bigreira, Velesh Mammon Adok Klum. It's no kasher Rabbi. And maybe we're talking about over here. It's a very big wallet, and therefore you have to drag it. It's got a lot of money in it. Now, as we do our Mesivin Hamasnita, we have this brisa, and we can ask questions from it. And the Gemara explains Zimin and the Moisen law, Messiah, Zimin and Moisen law. And we'll see the Girsa according to my folder is Rabbi Shaya, Messiah, and Rabbi Yochanan, and Zim the Moisen law, Rabbi Yochanan, and Messiah, and Rabbi Shaya. So now we're going to explain what this is. Yesh Eichel, okay, we have a famous price over here. Yesh Eichel. Achila achas v'chayev alei arba chatois v'oshem echad. Person can have one achila, eats one item, and he's chayev 4 chatois and 1 oshem. What is this? Tamei, person's tamei shachal chelev, v'hu noisar, right? Umina mukdashin biyam kippur. So there you go. Reb Meir adds some hoyser Shabbos for tzibur Shabbos. Now I'll add another. I'll add a fifth. What about if it was Shabbos and he took it out on Shabbos? Amrullah said this to Ein Hashem. When we're discussing, it's not the same lav. We're talking about the lav of achilu. We're not talking about a lav of hoitzah. So now, so the Gemara, Amos, the Mesivin. Le Rabbi Shaya, Messiah, Le Rabbi Yochanan. It's here b'Shabbos. Ein kan anocha. V'lama amru ein Hashem. So now, the Rafulda explains that this over here will be this will be Kasher Rishaya and a Rayit Rabbi Yochanan. Why? Depending on how I look at this. So we'll just do the Rafulda inside. V'zinu Mesivin Rabbi Shaya, Messiah, Rabbi Yochanan. If we hold, now Rabbi Yochanan holds that Mahalach is lav koim adam. In other words, somebody walking along the Rishus Rabbim, as long as he doesn't stop, he's not over anything. Because we don't hold that the akira of one regal and the hanacha of the other regal is considered to be a full akira hanacha in the sense as if he stopped. And therefore, now the item came to rest in Rishus Rabbim, and now he's over. He doesn't say that about Mahalach. In other words, you would actually have to be oimid in the Rishus Rabbim. As long as you keep walking, you would not be over. So now, the Marafolda, the Mahalach Chayv Koim Lama Amruloi Eina Hashem. If it's true, right, that Mahalach is Koimed, why did they say to him, Ein Hashem? Sharei im hilucha shoichel chayv nami mishum. As he's eating it, and he's walking, and he's walked from Rishus HaYachid into Rishus HaRabim, he's chayv atzatzah, and he's eating it. Right? So from what do we see from over here? We see from over here that obviously they hold Mahalach is lav koim edame. And therefore, just by the fact that he was eating it and he walked along, just by the fact that he was eating it and walking along, they told him Einem Hashem. So that sounds like Rabbi Yochanan Shita. So therefore, in this case, that's what we said. Aim is the Masiv in Rabbi Shaya. Masan Rabbi Yochanan, where's this a right? Rabbi Yochanan is Chatzir b'Shabbos ain't kind of nacha, right? You don't have an nacha. Lama Amru Ein Hashem. Ain't kind of, don't you have an nacha over here? Why did they tell him Ein Hashem? So it must be told him Ein Hashem because they hold like Rabbi Yochanan that Mahalach is lav koimidame, and therefore you're not chayiv. Okay. Amos the Mesivin le Rabbi Yochanan Messiah le Rabbi Shaya. Where would it be? The opposite would be a kasha on Rabbi Yochanan, but it would be a raya to Rabbi Shaya. If I look at it this way, if I look at the same verse this way, Haitziyo b'yoyim Kippurim yehi pater. According to right that the we said he did all this on Yom Kippur. Now. Again, let's just see the Marafulda inside. Amos the Mesivil Rabbi Yochanan Masal Rabbi Shaya Kasha Vaitzir B'Yom Kippurim Yei Pata Shebachol Makom Shomrin and Eina Hashem. What is Perusha? What does that mean? Eina Hashem. Eina Hashem. Einon Shem Echad. We call Makom Chiyuva Ispe means we're discussing a certain class of love. This other lav is Einem Hashem. It's not in the same class of lav. It doesn't mean that you're pater, you're chayiv, but it's a different category. It's not the same category of lav. Im kain kan be Kippurim ilo etzi befiv bali chase chayiv. Right, he's chayiv. It's a different shem. We're not discussing this category of chatas. According to Rabbi Yochanan, he's patahu. Kiv the mahalach ain't a comment like we explained. Ain't kan anacha. There was never anacha. So what do you mean? You take it out. We said over here we're talking about Yom Kippurim. So Yom Kippurim, the Mashmah says Yechayev. Their only taina was on Reb Meir is that's Einem and Hashem. In other words, it's the same. It's not the same category, but Yizech Chayev. But according to Rabbi Yochanan Pata. So therefore, we see from the same brisa, it's a kasha on Rabbi Yochanan, and it would be a raya to Rabbi Shai. Fine. Amar Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Bon, so Gemara weiter. Asid Rabbi Meir holds. Right, he came and he said, right, and look carefully at the words of the brisa. Rabbi Meir Omer im hoyser Shabbos v'yitziyoi b'Shabbos. So this shita, the fact that he said v'yitziyoi b'Shabbos, comes out like it's like Reb Meir is going in the sheet of Rebbe Kiva. The Tani we learned in Yom Kippur Shechalis b'Shabbos. B'Shog v'Osam Malacha. So it's Yom Kippur on Shabbos. And he did the B'Shog did a Malacha. Minayin shechayiv al zebat is chayiv for Yom Kippur separately and for Shabbos separately. Talmud lo Shabbos he Yom Kippurim hu divrei Rebbe Kiva. So Reb Meir, and this I'll just talk the Marafulda, that Reb Meir says im hoyser Shabbos v'tzir b'Shabbos. The mashmos is that he means to add another issue here of Shabbos. Now, besides the issue of Yom Kippur that the Bryce was talking about, you also have the issue of Shabbos. So by putting them by saying the words v'tzir b'Shabbos, he's adding a second one. That's in the shita of Rabbi Akiva, because otherwise, if he didn't mean to add another lav over here for Shabbos, he should have just said, it should have said in the Brayso, Reb Meir oimim hoyser Shabbos v'yitziyoi. But since it's v'yitziyoi Shabbos, Mashma says that there's two chiyuv, one for Yom Kippur, one for Shabbos. Rabbi Shmuel oimer, as we can finish off over here, Rabbi Shmuel oimer, ein chayiv ela'achas. No, you only chayiv one. There aren't two shemus, one for Shabbos, one for Yom Kippur. There's only one, so Rabbi Shmuel. Have a wonderful day.